What is up, my friends? I have finally seen Terrifier 2. I wanted to watch this movie last month to be part of my October horror movie review series that I was doing. I did a few horror movies throughout the course of the month, and I wanted this to be one of them, but I couldn't get to the theater that was playing it at a reasonable time, and it hasn't been streaming until recently. And it's not even really streaming, it's on Amazon, but you can rent it. So I still had to pay to watch it, but I did. Finally saw Terrifier 2, and I'm going to give you guys my full grounded thoughts on it. Did I throw up? Was I able to make it through the movie? Did I have to call an ambulance? What is going on with this film? And that's the thing I will say about Terrifier 2. This movie has perhaps the greatest word of mouth of a movie that I've experienced in a very, very long time. The marketing for this movie has been absolutely 10 out of 10. Fantastic. I don't know if anybody has ever actually passed out in the theater from this movie. I don't know if anybody actually ever really did need to call an ambulance. To me, maybe it's all a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But just saying that and getting that viral on social media and spreading the tweets and spreading the posts about people that are bringing barf bags into the theater and people that can't make it through this movie and nobody can make it through it. And it's like, it's so disgusting. It's so gory. Like, this is a movie that you have to have the strongest stomach in order to watch. That kind of marketing is crazy good because that is only going to spark more interest in the movie. The more you tell people that they shouldn't watch this movie because it is too horrific and you can't handle it, that's like having the giant button that says do not press this, and then at some point you're gonna press it. So obviously everybody had to see this movie. The movie is doing phenomenally well, especially for the budget that it has, and it sparked my interest. I did see the first Terrifier, but I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good low-budget kind of throwback to the 80s. Reminds me of like a Trauma movie, that kind of thing. Just ridiculous, over-the-top gore, insanity, exploitation kind of stuff. So, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I didn't really think about it again. It didn't really cross my mind. So Terrifier 2, I was like, I'll see that eventually. I'll see it when it goes on Netflix. But just the word of mouth is so insane for this movie. I was like, well, all right, you win. You win. I guess I got to watch. So my thoughts on Terrifier 2. Was I able to make it through the movie? Was it too intense for me? Of all the horror films that I've ever seen, how does it stack up? I'll say this. I'll say, is there intense gore in this movie? Yes, there is. Plenty of body dismemberment, faces getting torn apart, lots of stabbing, cutting up skin, ripping off vital organs to your body if you were a man that you would not want ripped off your body, and done in a joyful, gleeful way with the main antagonist, which is Art the Clown. And I feel like Art the Clown is the thing that makes these movies as entertaining as they are. Because he is the thing that you can't take your eyes off of. We have Jason Voorhees, we have Freddy Krueger. Art the Clown is going to be added to that list of slasher villains eventually in the future, if not already, as like one of the top slasher villains because of the performance. I forget the actor's name. Absolutely incredible performance. And the likability of him, but also just the disgusting nature in which he dismembers and kills people, because he doesn't just stab you. He will rip your body parts. He has like intense super strength. I think he's a demon. I really don't know. And he's kind of more of a mime than a clown because he doesn't speak. But whatever, Art the Clown. He stalks his victims in a very particular way. And it's this kind of like flirtatious, funny way where he'll look at them from across the store. He'll just walk into a store because he comes out on Halloween, so everyone's dressed up anyway, so no one really thinks anything of it. And he'll just sit there and stare at you and be like... And it's just like so funny. I don't know what it is. Like the way his mannerisms, just the mime nature of him, whatever it is. And he'll sit there and he'll put on sunglasses and he'll stare at you and just be like... And like he'll just laugh at you and look at you from across the way, but he doesn't actually laugh. Like no sound comes out when he laughs, so it's even creepier. It's just that kind of silent. And that's what he does. And then I think that his name being Art also makes sense because when he kills people, he doesn't just kill people. Like he really, like he takes a dude's head and he rips it open and he like, cuts people up in particular ways. And it's like he's making art out of bodies, which is what he's doing. And he's doing it in a very happy way. And I think that's the juxtaposition that makes these movies entertaining, but also terrifying, Terrifier at the same time, is because you like Art the Clown because he's hilarious, and his mannerisms and the way that he interacts with people and stalks people. He doesn't stalk from the shadows. He's right there in your face, holding a little horn up to your head, just like, blasting it in your ear. And he's right there. It's kind of like how I try to flirt with women. But then at the same time, when he actually goes to kill somebody, he's got like this insane super strength, to the point where he can like rip into your chest cavity, open it up, take out your heart, and then take a bite out of your heart. And that's the kind of things that he does in this movie. So you like him, but then you see the lengths that he goes to murder people, and it is just like so ridiculous, over the top. And as all the promotion for the movies are saying, absolutely disgusting. So can you handle this movie? That's kind of the main thing, and that's the main promotion behind it. So can you handle it, right? I would say if you're used to watching a lot of horror movies, if you are a horror connoisseur, I think you will be fine. But I will say that there are some moments, in particular where Art kills a friend of the protagonist, where you kind of, like, you go with it, but there is a moment where you're like, damn, like, it's still going. Like, this kill scene is still going. Like, he does things that you think would kill them, and they'd be done, but then he keeps going, and he keeps going, and it keeps going. And it does get to a point where you're kind of just like, damn, like, what's the time here? Like, how long am I watching this person get murdered for? So it's not necessarily the gore itself, but it's just like how long the murders go on and you're still watching it. Like, it forces you to watch every little bit of it. So I would say, it depends on your tolerance for horror movies and gore and that kind of thing. This is a gore movie. This isn't the kind of movie where he's going to slash at the camera and it's going to cut away. This is the kind of movie where when Art starts to kill somebody, this is a 5-minute long sequence of him killing somebody. And that will actually lead me to one of my gripes of the movie, which is this movie's length. So this movie is way too long for its own good. If you are a hardcore Terrifier fan and you just want to see Art the Clown do his thing for as long as possible, you're going to love this movie. However, this movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Which is just ridiculous for a slasher movie and for a horror movie. And there were plenty of times, especially within the third act of this movie, where I was just waiting for it to end to the point where I was kind of getting bored. Like, the shtick was kind of wearing off. I didn't care as much anymore. There's this final battle sequence between the protagonist, Sienna, and Art the Clown that just goes on and on and on. And it didn't have any choreography to it, really. Like, they would be in a room and they would hit each other with things and stab each other and then move to another room and the same thing would happen. Then she would fall down a chasm and get back up and do it again. But, like, there wasn't any sort of, like, intense... I mean, it was intense, like, gore-wise, but it wasn't intense as far as the battle between them. Like, I really wanted to see them beat the ever-living fuck out of each other. But... And that kind of happens, but not in like I don't know how to describe it, not in a well choreographed way. I mean, I respect the idea behind it. So say you're making this movie and you want to make the Terminator 2 of slasher films. You want to make it 2 hours and 20 minutes. Maybe they even wanted to make it longer, and they wanted to make the most epic, intense, genre-defying film of all time within the slasher genre. And I respect that. And there are like things in this movie dealing with the plot that makes me feel like that's what they were going for. And that might have to do with the length of the film also, because the main character is a girl named Sienna, who, by the way, is drop dead fucking amazingly gorgeous. Like, this woman, I'm just saying, like, this is my type, all right? But anyways, there's a whole plot line that exists with her younger brother, and her mother. Her father has passed away, and her father was like an artist that would create all of these unique things, and he left her a bunch of things, including one of his characters that she dresses up. She makes her own costume to dress up as her for Halloween, and it's like this warrior woman in armor with wings, and she has a sword, like a legitimate sword that he left her. And it's not really like fully explain whether or not there is something supernatural happening here, but it seems like there is. And, towards the end of the film, this isn't really spoiling anything. You see this in the trailers, you see it in the on the poster. This is it. I mean, you see her wearing the Halloween costume, which is basically her in armor with the sword fighting Art the Clown, which is a great concept, a great setup, a great idea, taking like what her father meant to her and bringing it to the forefront and becoming that epic entity, to face down evil. And I love that concept and I love that idea, and they play with that here and they kind of make it work. But there's something that's lost in translation, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if like it was just like the focus wasn't on it enough. So by the time it happens, or maybe just the length of the film, that by the time it happens, I'm getting kind of bored with the repetition of it. And I will say that I think this movie could have benefited by being shorter. I think it could have benefited maybe just being 2 hours even. I mean, there were things that I would cut out of this film while I was watching it. There are dream sequence moments I would cut out. The opening of the film, actually, I feel could mostly be cut out. So there are just things here that I wish they would have taken out just to tighten the film up, just to get the pacing a little bit better, just to make it. And I understand making like an epic film, like you want to make the biggest, baddest, most, legendary slasher film of all time. And I respect the energy behind that. But watching it, by that last 30, 40 minutes, I just wanted it to start to be over. And so because of that, the climax and the final battle didn't work as intensely as I was thinking that they were trying to make it be, simply because by the time we got to it, I was kind of over it already. But other than that, I will say that this movie is pretty much exactly what they built it up to be. This is a gore fest. This is intense. People get ripped apart in all kinds of disgusting ways. So if you do watch this movie, just be aware that you are going to have an extremely bloody, gory film at your hands. And it's not going to be the kind of film where, everything works out happily for all of the characters, and a lot of characters that get killed really don't deserve it. This isn't the kind of movie where it's like, this guy was a bully, therefore he gets killed, or, all the, jerk camp counselors at Crystal Lake. No, like, these are just people, like, women, children, a mom, like, all of these characters, like, I mean, you're going to watch people you don't think deserve to be killed in very excruciatingly long, brutal ways. But Art the Clown is extremely hilarious while he does it. So if your morbid sense of humor kicks in, you might be all right. Anyways, guys, I don't really give movies a rating system on my channel. I just kind of explain what I like about them and what I don't like about them. As far as horror movies are concerned, Terrifier 2 is not going to make it into my top 10, top 20, top 50 probably. But I understand the hype behind this movie, and I respect the integrity behind the filmmakers for trying to do what they tried to do. And I will say Art the Clown is going to be a legendary slasher villain. I think if anything stands the test of time, it will be that character, that look, that makeup. You're going to see people dressed as Art the Clown for many, many years to come, and rightfully so, because he's endlessly entertaining. So other than that, guys, let me know if you have seen Terrifier 2. What did you think of it? Were you able to make it through the movie? How gory did you think it actually was? Let me know all that down below in the comments. Other than that, guys, please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and go ahead and stick around the channel and subscribe if you would like. I'm trying to hit 100K subscribers by the end of the year. I review movies. I also review anime, manga, if you're into that kind of stuff, and I just do other random stuff on here. So, all right, we'll talk to you later, guys.